Hey everybody, welcome to season 1, episode 8 of Geek.0. I'm Chris.
And I'm Shawn Michael.
It's been a couple weeks since we've recorded. We've both been pretty wrapped up with some stuff going on, real world life stuff, that takes a little precedence over a podcast, or webcast, or vlog, or whatever we want to call this thing at this point. So we're wanting to get back into it, and boy, do we have a ton of stuff to talk about. So we're going to try to get through it quick. Well, each item quick. We've got so many items that getting through the whole podcast quick is probably going to be a little difficult, but we are going to try to get through each item quick. And the first thing we want to talk about, and I'm going to phrase it this way, is Apple completely missing the mark with its consumer base, because if you have a sleeve tattoo, apparently Apple Watch will not work for you. So hipsters of the world, unite and go set fire to Cupertino and get them an Apple Watch that'll work with your sleeve tattoos. Oh, Sean, what else are you hearing? I mean, obviously, a lot of the stuff with Apple Watch has been, let's say, less than positive, less than glowing.
Yeah, it's not atypical of Apple, the stuff we're seeing on Apple Watch. Obviously, neither one of us has had a chance to play with the thing in person. But the general consensus among the majority of reviewers and a lot of consumers is that it's a good product. It feels nice, it looks nice, and everything else when it works right. Unfortunately,
Oof.
as with every first-generation product, but I think even more so than ever before when it comes to Apple, because they're so careful about every product launch, about getting everything perfect. There have been issues with missing sensors not working, screens going out or scratching too easy. Just there's been a polyphony of errors, and then little things popping up related to claims Apple had made. I know iFixit did a teardown of the Sport, and the comments that Apple had made previously about the potential of upgrades for later in life had been identified as being patently impossible. iFixit literally
at least
had
on
to
the Sport model, like you were saying.
yeah. At least with the Sport model, they had to actually rip the thing apart to get it apart. There's no repairability to it at all. It's glued together.
Because God forbid you get use a $350 watch for more than 18 months before it becomes obsolete.
Amen. Or if you bought a normal edition, and jury's still out. We don't know what the
Yeah,
repairability
we don't
factor
know
is on
on
those yet.
actual Apple Watch. And if you bought an edition, just go away. I don't even want to be your friend.
Yeah. If you have $17,000
Or
to
actually,
blow
maybe I
and you
do
bought a
want to be your
watch with
friend.
it,
Can you
that's
pay
from
off my
Apple.
mortgage for me since you
Yeah.
can afford a $17,000 watch? I
But
love you, my friend.
overall, the reviews are a bit surprising for an Apple product. I knew that it
Yeah.
wasn't going to be all of the hype that Apple has made out of it, or the
It would
media
be
has.
really, really hard to
But
live up to it. It really
yeah,
would be.
at this point, yeah, and
Yeah.
they're not. Unfortunately for them, they're not living up to it. So
No,
on
no,
top
but
of
it's their own
failed
fault for creating that kind
expectations
of,
are
yeah.
quality issues, and that's the big issue.
Yeah, that's that. And I will say, I'd say over 7 episodes now into our eighth, it's relatively well established that I'm not a huge fan of Apple. But I'll say this: they build a quality product, and
Yes.
they have such exacting standards that it drives Chinese people to suicide. So they obviously put a precedence on everything being well built.
Yeah.
So, firmware issue, the software stuff, they can fix that with Apple Watch 2.0 or 1.2 or whatever firmware update they push out to it you know, here in a couple months or however long it takes them. But the fact that it's just not built well
Yeah.
is shocking. It's really shocking to me.
Well,
I'm just really surprised.
Steve Jobs is famous, Apple is famous. Let me rephrase, because I'm not sure if it was Cook or Jobs that said it, or Cook during the Jobs era, that said any company can put out a product with tons of features, none of which work perfectly. That Apple will never ship a product until it's perfect. They will never ship a product until
Well,
it's just right. And this one is failing to meet the mark big time.
yeah,
It's looking like another cube. Just saying.
ow.
So,
It's a Newton. No. So, that being said, I will say the one thing that is good, and oh boy, is it a good thing for Apple. At least the issue with the sensor on dark skin is only related to tattoos.
this
At
blew my
least
mind.
At least Apple Watch isn't racist. So at least
This
there's
blew my
that.
mind.
At least they've got that going for them.
It makes you wonder if they actually. Here's the deal, and I don't know how much of this is a testing issue or a real life product issue. If it's, I don't necessarily think it's a pigmentation issue as it is the multiple colors of a tattoo. The reason I say that is one of the things that came to light during just prior to the official release was the fact that there were a number of high profile celebrities, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James,
Yeah.
a number of them who'd been spending months at the Apple campus wearing this thing, testing it. And so we've got a lot of dark pigmented, we've got a lot of African American, people testing the product.
That's right.
So if that is a problem now, why wasn't it a problem then? I'm wondering if it's the issue with multiple colors in a tattoo.
I don't think it's a multiple color thing. Here's what I think it is. I think when you get a tattoo, you're getting ink injected into your arm, and it creates an additional layer. Plus, black ink, I believe, has iron oxide in it, if I'm not mistaken, to a small degree. So I think between the thicker skin and possibly what creates the pigmentation, that's probably causing the issue. But on that same token, would it have really been that hard in Northern California to find someone with a sleeve tattoo?
I was just gonna say.
I mean, really?
I was just gonna say, Apple is the birthplace.
It's in the hipster capital of the world.
Exactly, Apple is the birthplace of the hipster society. How is it that they didn't have one of their product testers? How is it that one of them wasn't a sleeve tattooed hipster?
They don't hire people with sleeve tattoos, I bet.
I'm
Would it
sure they
shock
would have
you?
tested one though.
You'd think. I mean, you'd think they'd find somebody in a lumberjack shirt and skinny jeans to be able to freaking test the thing out.
I love you,
But-
man, but Adam Levine, where were you when Apple needed to figure out this bitch?
exactly. You know what? Perfect. Why not Adam Levine? The dude's got a whole freaking sleeve. So we ranted a little bit about Apple here, but their direct competition, who's actually doing something right, is Samsung, and apparently, Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge have been out for a little bit now, and they are still face-meltingly awesome. So tell us all about it, man.
So good news is Samsung did the exact opposite. So Apple has high expectations and a world community that loves everything they do, no matter what it is, and they're failing to meet up to that with the Apple Watch. Samsung, on the other hand, has been disappointing generations with massive promises.
I mean, if you can say generations,
well, let me rephrase. Generationally, phone-wise. So
okay. I was gonna say it's only 3 phones.
From a
4 phones.
diehard Samsung fan who's had every phone they've launched since the original Galaxy, not even the S version, there was a lot to make up for with the S6, and they are doing it. As a matter of fact, I think NPD stated, I want to say this last week, that Samsung once again, because of Galaxy S6 sales, once again took Apple's crown as the highest selling smartphone of all time. So Samsung actually, with the S6, has now kicked the iPhone 6 out of its slot for the first quarter of 2015. Pulling it up here, it's 83.2 million smartphones. So that's not all. Yeah, that's not all S6, obviously, but we know a large portion of that is. Too. Yeah, and we know a large portion of that is. So that's a lot of units to move. The S6 Edge is definitely proving to be a lot of that. And rave reviews of just fantastic things coming through about it. Due to a glitch with Verizon's billing, I have to wait till June to get mine. Nonetheless, I have played with it, and it is absolutely as phenomenal as people say. It's truly an experience to hold the Edge. You have to hold it to understand how awesome it feels to use this phone. A very, very quality feel to it. It's the best feeling Samsung phone I've ever put in my hands. So, good on you,
I want to
Sammy.
get my hands on one, but yet on that same token, since I'm required to have an iPhone for work, I don't want to play with it
And then be
because I
disappointed
just
that you can't.
don't want to be horribly disappointed that I can't have it.
I'm with you
So,
there.
it's kind of one of those things.
I got you.
Um, so Samsung's doing it right. Android is entering into, obviously they're there on the Galaxy S6, other new phones coming out, the LG G4. Looks like it's going to be hitting the shores here pretty soon. And can I just say, that thing is pretty.
It's
It's
beautiful.
pretty.
It's
Looks
a
like
really
it looks
beautiful
like they
phone.
took the interior of a Breitling or a Bentley or something like that and just put it right on the back of a phone.
Yep.
That brown leather, it's
Yes.
freaking gorgeous,
It
man.
looks it
It's
looks
a
like
good looking phone.
it looks like a Ferrari. It does. I mean,
Yeah,
it's beautiful Italian leather back stitched. It's physical stitching from what I'm reading,
beautiful Corinthian
not
leather.
not faux like you see with the Note.
Yeah,
And then to boot, after the sexy back is absolutely killer specs. Definitely a powerhouse phone.
yeah.
So, they're doing a great job with it. It's not necessarily my type of phone, but damn it, it is really, really pretty. And it's powerful, and a lot of people are going to be really proud to be carrying it around.
I'll say this, and I've said this on the last couple episodes. We're going to be getting my wife a new phone here right around Father's Day because that's when our contract expires and we're going to switch carriers. It's going to be really, really hard to choose. I mean, it's really going to be hard to choose between Nexus 6s and LG G4s and Galaxy S6s and HTC One M9s, and it's going to be tough to choose. It really is. So it's going to be interesting. I am looking forward to getting to play with all of them a little bit to give my input as to which phone she should get. So
I'll
looking
tell you
forward to
what,
that.
coming from my side of it, as a videophile, as somebody who is in love with quality TVs and the technology of them, I gotta give LG props for this absolutely insanely magical quantum IPS screen. So this sucker is not only a 4K screen on a smartphone, but it's even calibrated to the film industry's DCI color standard.
Wow.
So
I
to get that in a computer monitor costs thousands of dollars. We're talking in the $2,400 range,
is a lot
calibrated to
bigger.
DCI compliance, and you can get that in the G4. It is
Yeah.
one beast. I mean, you can look at it from almost any angle, almost completely, you know what I mean? Level with the phone and still get an insanely clear image from it. It's amazing.
Which will be great for Facebook games and the occasional YouTube video.
Hey,
It'll be perfect for that.
Netflix. I'll tell you what though, that Netflix 4K content is going to look pretty damn sexy on it.
And if she watched Netflix on her phone, that would make perfect sense.
This is true. Use case scenario.
Like if I were getting the phone,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
straight
different.
up. I'd be all over the LG G4 because of the screen, because I watch the crap out of Netflix on my phone.
Yeah.
And Hulu Plus and Amazon TV and YouTube. My phone is a media device. It's not just a phone. I use it more for media than I do for Facebook and texting and all that stuff. So, Android, the G4 looks awesome. And then Android has also come out. Asus has built it for them, a
Yeah.
Nexus Player. And you got your hands on one. You got to unbox it. You got to review it, which, by the way, both of those videos are going to be on Geek.0.com. Actually, they are already both on Geek.0.com, so you can go check them out. Um, for for the viewers that aren't necessarily going to go check the video out, tell us about it. What do you think of the Nexus Player?
It's sexy. The one thing I could say is they took the design of the Fire TV. The Fire TV is still to this day one of the best looking players. I think the Roku it's got a weird bubbly look to it. I don't dig it. The Fire TV's got a very slim profile. It's very thin. It's got the polished edge, but the matte top and bottom. Yeah. But then this new Nexus player, they took it and they rounded it. It's a perfect disc. And you know what? Hold on one second. I haven't put it away yet. So why not real quick? It just looks
kind of looks like a hockey puck.
It looks like a flat, sexy hockey puck.
Okay. Okay.
As far as the experience is concerned, it's got the nice little Nexus logo on it.
Yeah.
As far as the experience is concerned, pretty rock solid. It's got a great menu system. Navigation is really good. You'll see that in the video if you take a look at it. I'm a little disappointed that there's no support. There's literally no support for anything other than Google Play TV and movies, period. There's no app support. There's no games. There's no anything other than that yet. And I think to launch with just that, I think is a bit premature, and I think
dumb.
It hurts your product.
So does it have? You said no app support. Does that mean no Netflix, no Amazon, no Hulu, no YouTube, no?
That's correct. That's what I was getting to. So the second
and it fails.
The second worst part about it is no third party support for other platforms. And
dude, honestly, it might as well be the Voodoo player at Walmart then.
Yeah. That will kill your product. Not supporting the other standards out there and sticking just to your own, it becomes the Sony product of the 80s with proprietary. Exactly. So the one thing I will say that I like about it,
Sorry, I'm just rambling off obsolete formats because they didn't adhere to the standards. But go ahead.
The one thing I will say that I liked about it, and we'll make this short, is when I go into Netflix, ever since they switched to that new ribbon format, which I freaking hate. It sucks.
Thanks, touchscreen users.
That new ribbon format literally cuts off the world of Netflix from you, and you only see a few recommended options. And searching is a bear. So, but one thing I've noticed is, in the large majority of the time, when I go to look for something specific, it turns out Netflix doesn't have it. And what'll happen is you start to type it in and it'll say, oh, we don't have that. We know what you're looking for, but we don't have that. But here's these things. So
I like.
Yeah, here's these shows and TV and movies you may like. When I booted this thing up and I logged into it with my email address, which was a very simple process, and you'll see in the video, literally all of my favorite movies and television shows through all of history immediately popped up and populated the various categories.
And that doesn't slightly horrify you a whole lot?
Not at all. That is one of those, and people talk about this, that is one of those use case scenarios where I think that it shows the benefits of the amount of data that Google collects.
Right.
So Google knows all about my favorite TV shows and movies, from the things that I've liked, shared, rated on Netflix, rated on Google Plus. They collect all that information, and I swear to God, that's where they're pulling that information from, because I've never seen a more accurate synopsis of what I enjoy as a viewer than in that list.
A lot of backyardigans and
no backyardigans. No.
And the Wiggles.
Stop.
You're a big fan of the Wiggles,
wow.
right?
Wow. See, there's a line. There's a line, and you crossed it.
That's what I do. I'm a line crosser. I'm a line jumper.
Overall, potential to be a killer product. Unfortunately,
get some third-party app support.
Unfortunately, because of the fact that it's core Google, it's severely hindered. The worst part about it is this product launched just a couple weeks ago. I had to wait to get it in. It's direct partner / competitor in the Android TV market. This is the very first Android TV device ever for the consumer. Its next of kin is going to be the Razer Forge. And that is a box that kicks this one's butt all over the street, up and down. So this has got an Intel Atom processor in it. The Razer Forge has a Snapdragon 808 in it. And the Razer Forge is built for high-end gaming. It's built for high streaming. It's got every feature you could possibly imagine. You know, wireless N support, wireless AC support, Bluetooth controller support, the whole kit and caboodle. So, and it comes supporting other services, not just Google's. So,
And that's a huge thing.
pretty but lacks substance. Pretty but lacks substance. I'll hit you up and give you guys the skinny on the Forge when it launches on May 5th.
Very excited about seeing that. So that's kind of our tech stuff for today. Correct? Did I miss anything?
Just a quick note. Just a quick
You took
note.
better notes than me.
Microsoft has been just dumping the information about Windows 10 on the consumer market and on the tech media. Project Spartan finally has a name that allowed them to keep the crappy logo from Internet Explorer. It's now been renamed Microsoft Edge. Dumb. But here's the deal: the browser is still awesome, so I'm not going to give them too much flack for it.
I know, but come on.
When I put it on my desktop, I will change the name of it to say Spartan, so it'll always be Spartan to me. But they did announce that Microsoft has a very ambitious program. Those of you who have been following any of our news about Windows 10 know that for the first year, it's going to be free for anyone who has Windows 7 or 8. And the reason it's free for the first year, and that does not include corporate or volume licensing. Okay, that's just consumers who want to upgrade.
I mean, that makes sense.
But the reason they're doing the 1 year thing is to push adoption. The worst hurdle that most companies have is getting people onto the current platform. So Microsoft is saying, look, if you get Windows 10 in the first year, it's free. Please just
then they need to figure out a way to get enterprise involved quicker. I know they can't make it free, but it better be cheap.
Here's the thing. I think that's the point. Microsoft has focused on enterprise so long and said to the consumer market for so long, and we ended up with crappy products like Vista. 7 was subpar, and so and they were just ways to appease the consumer market. And on the backside, we had exceptional enterprise products like XP, because they were built for business and then tuned for consumers. This is the first time Microsoft is putting the consumer at the forefront and telling enterprise, you'll get taken care of too.
Right, and I understand that. I truly understand that. But as someone who has to work with
I
IT that may not necessarily be as on the forefront of things as I would like them to be, I'll give you a good example. I'll give you a good example of this. I started with my company 10 years ago. I've had a Windows 8.1 laptop since last July.
4 years into the life cycle.
And before that, I'd had a Windows 7 laptop for 2 years. I was XP all the way up until then.
Wow.
And that's what I'm dealing with. And that's what a lot of individuals that have to work with IT groups have to deal with, because we got to test it and we got to know everything about it.
Then I have good news for you. One of the things that Microsoft did in this week's announcement is announce their master plan, their roadmap, the product roadmap for 10, and Microsoft aims within the first year of Windows 10 to have 10 billion devices on Windows 10.
Okay.
So they're not playing. But they're not Microsoft's not a big one to make adoption rates. They normally play those down big time because they know how bad they've been historically. Right. This means they're committed to getting things ready, and that includes Windows smartphones. You know what I mean?
I've been hearing real good things about
Android
Windows 10
phones.
for the phones.
Yeah. So they just rolled out a new version for smartphones this week. So. Lots of good things in the pipeline, lots of amazing things. All the systems that we have that have been running Windows 10, I just updated to the latest build today. It's unbelievable. So good news for consumers.
And I'm going to update when I get home. Very excited about 10.071, I believe is the build now. I'm still on 6.4, I think was the last build. And I've only been on that for a little bit because of a weird update thing, but I got through it. So that actually does wrap up the tech stuff for this week.
Done with tech.
So something we've seen pop culture though is Jared. Let's call it Leto. Sometimes it's Leto. However the
It's
crap you say his
Leto.
last
He
name. I don't know how you
pronounces
say
it
his last name.
Leto.
I don't know how you say it. Anyway, the guy from 30 Seconds to Mars is the Joker. They put out a picture of it
In Suicide Squad.
in Suicide Squad, and reactions have been pretty split. They've been pretty split. I'll be completely honest with you. The Joker kind of looks. I mean, he's covered in tattoos. He's got a little John style grill. Um, I don't know what to think. I know. Part of me likes it. Part of me hates it. Part of me is annoyed by it. Part of me is interested in what it's going to be. I know Jared Leto's a very Leto, tomato, tomato. Jared Tomato is a very good actor, and he will bring something great to the role. I have no doubt in my mind on that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I thoroughly enjoy it. I think the large part about it is, here's the deal. A lot of the buzz on the internet is people going, "Oh, whatever, man. That's not going to be any good." This is the exact same crap that was being spewed about Heath Ledger before he turned in an Oscar-winning performance that completely stole the entire movie away from the rest of what was going on.
The
So,
guy from A Knight's Tale and 10
yeah.
Things I Hate About You is going to be the Joker? That's
So,
stupid.
yeah, this I guess this animosity
Yeah.
towards Leto playing it, and I'm just gonna put it up for everybody to see this depiction of Jared Leto as the Joker.
Don't worry, it'll be popping up on the screen when I go to edit.
Okay, yeah,
Don't worry.
I am thoroughly fond of it. I think the tattoos give it a more edgy look. Keep in mind, Joker
Well,
was younger at one point. In
yeah.
the comics, you're seeing like the mid I want to say late 20s, early 30s
Yeah,
version
you're
of
probably in
Joker.
that range right now, yeah.
Yeah, and what we're seeing in the Suicide Squad seems to be a slightly more invigorated, slightly younger version of him, a little more
Well,
rebellious
and
and
I'll say this, I think one of the things that I heard was that the tattoos were only there as a promo shoot for the 75th anniversary of the Joker because they released the picture on the same day as the 75th anniversary of the birth of the Joker.
so you're saying there's a chance the tattoos won't even be on the character in the movie.
Yes. That's kind of the rumor floating around. Personally, I kind of
Gotcha.
dig the tattoos. The only thing I really don't like is the frickin' rapper grill.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the
That
silver teeth.
ticks me off to no end. I dig the slick back hipster hair. I dig the tattoos were fine, but for the love of Pete, a platinum grill.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
reminds me it's like it's like
exhibits the Joker or something, or Lil Jon, or I don't freaking know. People with grills. I don't know. Flavor Flav. I think he's got one now.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. At least I hope that they don't stick with that theme and his car doesn't have rims in the movie.
They're spinning. Look at the
They
spinning wheels.
spinning, they spinning.
22 spinners on the Joker.
But no, I do like the look. I think it'll be an interesting
Yeah.
look. I want to see it with the jacket on. I want to see him fully clothed.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
his
I want to see
appropriate
the
outfit.
costume.
Yep.
Yeah. He was
So
definitely appropriately pale. I mean, he was pale enough. I actually
he's Jared
liked
Leto.
I liked the super bright green hair. It was
Yeah.
much more Jokery. I know
Uh,
to knock Heath Ledger at all in The Dark Knight is
Not
like
at all.
sacrilege.
It definitely
But
fits
the Joker,
the killing joke much better.
yeah, yeah, and it looks like it's the same hair that's in the comic now, which is where it's shaved all the way up on the sides and then slicked back.
Yep.
So I'd say it's going more the comics route, which that's pretty cool.
You can't go wrong
And the
that
other
way.
thing that I just heard about yesterday is there's a rumor floating around that Ben Affleck was on set for Suicide Squad and that Batman will be making a cameo appearance in some way, shape, or form in the Suicide Squad movie.
What?
So we'll see. We know for a fact that he was in Toronto where it's being shot. We don't know why he was there. But on that same token, the Dark Knight Rises trailer, or not the Dark Knight Rises. I wanted to say Batman v Superman:
Oh yes.
Dawn of Justice. The trailer came out. We got a teaser the same day that the Star Wars trailer came out. And then, and I'm going to be pretty proud of us. We were one of the first websites to break this, by the way. The trailer
Yes.
leaked online. Not very many of you went and saw it. So,
Boom, we had it up.
but yeah, we had it within about 20 minutes, and we were one of the first sites that had it up there. That's geek.0.com. So a little pat on the back here. So it was a bootlegged version of the trailer. It went everywhere quickly because, well, duh, it's Batman and Superman. So Warner Brothers just grinned and bared it and put the trailer out. And once again, because nerds are nerds, reactions have been mixed. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I know you liked it as well. Um, it's mostly just people going, "Oh, it's dark."
You know what? And here's the deal: I don't give a crap, and this is why. I have seen far too many movies that the trailers were unbelievable for, and then once I got to the theater, everything that was worth seeing in the movie at all was in the 2 minute trailer. The movie sucked donkey dong, and so. I will reserve my judgment until I physically get to see the movie. I don't think by any means it's going to suck. It may not live up to its potential. No. It may be far beyond what we could possibly imagine being from a Zack Snyder film in goodness. I don't know. I'm going to wait and see. The trailer looks good. I'm excited. It's got subject matter I love. It's got characters that I'm attached to.
It's got Batman in a suit of armor.
Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? It's got Batman. I was just gonna say it. It's got Batman threatening Superman's life. Does it? I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So
I was a big fan of it.
Shut up, haters.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. Hate. Oh,
and if you're gonna hate, be careful where you do it because you might just get your ass kicked by a goon of somebody who doesn't like what you have to say, like Kingpin, because he's been regulating lately.
Yeah. Holy cow! I know you finished it before I did, and I just finished Daredevil. So
good.
2 seconds here. If you have not watched Marvel's Daredevil on Netflix, first off,
massive spoiler alert.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You suck at being a nerd.
Yeah.
So go watch it because we're getting ready to spoil all kinds of stuff, and we're going to go into a Daredevil palooza because it's that much better than the Ben Affleck Daredevil. It really is.
It's so good. It's so good. I can actually forget the Ben Affleck movie ever happened.
I still have it on DVD. I like the director's cut. You know, I've talked about that before. But, damn, is it good. It's so good.
It's incredibly good.
It's so good.
And what's funny is when I saw the original trailer, the teaser actually for it, I went to look up the guy they had playing him, and the guy's a dork. Okay?
Yeah, he is.
He is a massive dork. He's not what you would think of as an ass-kicking, blind lawyer.
When he cries against James Vanderbeek face.
Yes, he does. So, but he is absolutely fantastic at playing Matt. I am very, very, very impressed. He makes, he handles his character extremely well. On the Daredevil side, I mean, the guy's physical. He does not. I mean, he handles himself well. Very, very well done. I like it. And the characters. And did anybody who was looking forward to this show have any doubt that Vincent D'Onofrio was going to be amazing? But I did not expect him to be as good as he was. What's funny is he wasn't ever shown for so many episodes. All they did was they just talked about him.
So they
he was Voldemort. He was
built the man I work for.
He who shall not be named. He was
Voldemort. He was freaking Voldemort.
And then
Wilson Fisk was Voldemort.
When he shows up, you're just like, oh. And then consistently throughout it, they build his humanity and his person as well as his beastness.
Yeah, they make him a character
that you can empathize for and
exactly,
fear.
exactly.
You fear him like nothing else. You know, he's the shadow in the night, but you also
but you completely understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Yep.
And that's what made the show so good.
Absolutely.
That and holy crap, were the fight scenes spectacular.
Extremely well
the
done.
choreography for the fight scenes was bar none some of the best I've ever seen. Spectacular.
Note to directors, okay?
Hire the guy that was the choreographer for those fight scenes.
We aren't stupid anymore as viewers. We know that when you show close-ups of a fight, it's because the fighting choreography you're doing sucks ass, and so you're using close-up punches to hide how bad it all looks. When you can take and do a wide-angle shot for the entire scene of a fight, that's because you've got exceptional choreography and exceptional talent doing it. And these fight scenes are beautiful. They're just so well done.
Spectacular.
Yes.
So back onto all of it. Daredevil, for those of you that aren't going to go watch it and have continued to tune in and you don't know what the crap Daredevil is a blind lawyer in Hell's Kitchen, New York, that has supernatural abilities that give him the ability to go out at night and beat the crap out of bad guys. And he's really good at it.
Yeah.
They call him the Devil of Hell's Kitchen. The comic books are great. He's always been a character that I've liked, especially, Frank Miller had a lot to do with Daredevil rising to prominence. Kevin Smith has wrote some Daredevil stuff. There's been a lot of good Daredevil stuff out there. And I am a fan of it. It's a great show. You do owe yourself, even if you're not a comic book fan, which I'd be really surprised if you're listening to this or watching this, if you're not a comic book fan in some way, shape, or form. You owe it to yourself to go watch this show. Warning, it's bloody. It is violent.
It is violent.
But it's not so gratuitous
that
you feel like they did it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't make you self-conscious.
It feels like it's integral to the storyline.
Exactly.
When you see a guy getting his head pounded in, he's going to bleed. That's part of it. So back to Wilson Fisk. I mean, the biggest thing to me was that when they showed the flashbacks of when he was a child.
Oh, man.
When his dad takes him to beat the crap out of that kid for talking trash on him, and he just kick him again, and he's just waylaying into this kid. And then finally, his dad's beating on his mom, and what's 12-year-old Wilson Fisk do? He beats his dad to death with a hammer. And if they wanted to go gratuitous, they could have shown a lot more of that scene. You want to talk about a scene where they held the reins and kept themselves from going overboard with the violence, was that scene right there. Because you don't even see at any point the hammer actually strike the guy.
Yeah, you don't. He's not even on screen.
Then you see him laying on the ground with a pool of blood coming out from under, a pool of red corn syrup coming out from underneath him.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the spots where they could have gotten very gratuitous. The guy they've got playing Foggy, very good. He has good chemistry with Foggy and Matt have great chemistry, as they should. They're best friends. Man, it's so good. What were some of your favorite parts of the series?
So far, I love the character story arc they've done with Foggy and Matt. Their progression. I think the guy that they've got playing Foggy did an exceptional job of handling the dramatic side of the breakdown of their relationship. When he realized
when he found out.
His best friend's been hiding this secret from him for so long. He does a fantastic job of handling the line of understanding that he doesn't feel comfortable with him anymore, but he can't stop the fact that he's his best friend, and he still deals with it, His character does a fantastic job of handling that. I think the duality of man concept with Matt going to see the priest, where he kind of he doesn't necessarily go for absolution. It's just a place where he feels comfortable sharing the things.
Yeah, he almost goes for permission.
Yeah, and I love the character interaction between him and the priest. I think they're
Yep.
they're great moments to see a little deeper into Matt's character.
Yeah.
I love the progression of Daredevil not being Superman, showing his imperfections. He beats up some people
Showing
in
that
the
he
show,
gets the crap
but
kicked out
he
of.
gets his ass handed to him on a platter in the
Couple, three
show.
times. Yeah, he
And
does.
there's a couple times where he almost doesn't make it, and one of them
Yeah.
especially bad. And it just goes to show that this isn't just some. He's not some supernatural freaking ninja of death, from from a Chinese kung fu movie. This guy is he is a guy who's hell bent on bringing justice to an area that's suffering, a community that's
The city that he loves.
at risk because he loves the city. And, he faces challenges. He's blind. And while he does have heightened senses and everything else, I think he does a great job of portraying this character who's morally conflicted with what he does, yet
Yeah.
driven by the core of his soul for what he believes. And I just love it. It's a very well done show. The actors, I think they did an exceptional job with the casting of it. The cinematography is beautiful too.
Yeah.
It's a very well done show. Once again,
It's
another
definitely dark. It's dark. It's shot very dark.
Yeah,
You
it is.
definitely feel the grittiness and
Not-
the dirtiness of Hell's
not
Kitchen.
Zack
and stuff.
Snyder dark, just dark
No,
in
like
theme.
physically dark, not washed out sepia tones. Like dark.
like theme dark, and
Yeah.
and,
And,
I
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Some of the other little things that I liked. I loved the episode with Stick.
Yes,
With the old blind guy that taught him how to be what he
Stick is
is.
a dick.
Yeah, well, there you go. Nice rhyming there. And I loved the little shout outs to the MCU, to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah,
They talk about the cleanup after the Battle of New York. It's either the first or second episode where some Russians get their butt handed to them by Daredevil, and Fisk's right hand man's like, well, if it was Iron Man or Thor, if he had a iron suit or a giant hammer, I could understand, but it's just some guy in a mask. Little nuggets like that. I don't want to call them fan service, but that's what I am going to call it.
fan service. Hell
Little
yeah.
little nuggets of fan service like that, to where it ties it all together, because Marvel wants everything to be in a pretty bow. They want it all to be together. That's part of the reason that Spider-Man is now being controlled by Marvel. I mean, Sony's going to make money off of it, but Marvel's running the show on Spider-Man now.
And that's one of the things.
So-
Just as a note, because you mentioned DC we talked DC and its progress the other day. That is one of the things that Marvel and the studios have done an exceptional job of. Marvel is handling their universe much like Nintendo handled, and I'm going to get really geeky on you guys. One of the things that made Nintendo so unbelievably rich, made them so successful as a company, is they didn't just build a brand, they built this community of characters
Mario.
that you loved. It didn't matter what the game is. Like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. In the audience, you see Bowser. In all these Nintendo themed games, or these first party games, you see these
all
little
the Easter
cameos.
eggs.
You see cameos and Easter eggs from other aspects of that universe, and it builds this familiarity. And Marvel realized they can't just do one-off comic book character movies like the Spider-Man movies of the 70s and stuff like that, and just have them be standalone enterprises that generate money. What they've done is they've taken all these characters and they've made them in individual movies, but there's a throwback or a reference or a cameo.
There's always a
by
thread.
characters.
There's a thread
Yes.
that runs all the way through.
Exactly.
All the movies.
And it's what keeps you going, because everybody's like, oh my God, that's that. For those who aren't comic book fans, it's, oh my God, that's that one guy from the remember he was in Hulk, he came at the end, and, and so there's this tying of everything together that just creates a complete picture, and it's fantastic.
Well, that's why you're going to see, the rumor floating around on Spider-Man actually is that the subtitle is going to be Spider-Man: The Next Avenger. And to kind of go back to Captain America, the first Avenger, blah, 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 blah.
And speaking of Avengers, since we're running down on time, folks, tomorrow, the 30th, is the premiere, Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. And when asked by my networking group today if I was going to be there for our event tomorrow night, my answer was very enthusiastically no, because you, sir, and your missus, and me and mine have seats reserved and dinner reserved at WMB Theater for some luxury seating and some extra large screen Avengers 2 Age of Ultron goodness.
Yup.
To put it in the words of a gentleman, to put it in the words of Tom Hardy, who was at my meeting today, not the real one, but I swear to God, the guy's a spitting image. To quote
Give
Danny,
me a picture of him. I'll put it on the.
I will.
I'll
I will
edit
do
it
it.
in.
I will tell Josh tomorrow. You got to
Yeah.
take a picture of your boss. But to quote Danny, he said Ultron could be standing in front of me himself, trying to keep me from getting in. And I looked at him and I said, and I would whip his ass so I could get to my seat. and that is how excited I am for this movie.
Love it. So we're actually going Friday night.
Oh wait. Oh man, it's only Wednesday night, huh?
That's right. Huh. I was wondering what you. Yeah, I know. We're going Friday night.
Friday night. I
Uh-huh.
have to wait an extra day. I feel like you just
It's
reminded
okay.
me Christmas is a day away.
Sleep in tomorrow. Uh, but we're going Friday night. We will post probably a little thing on YouTube beforehand just to show how excited we are. And
We'll
we will
Periscope
definitely
live
be
tweet.
posting. We will definitely be posting afterwards. I'm not going to live tweet during the movie because I'm not a dick. But
You will see us before everything
you'll see us
starts.
before the movie and
So,
after the movie. We will not be tweeting during the movie.
Yeah.
I promise you that,
we
because we're
respect
going to a
efforts
grown-up
of the motion picture industry.
Yeah, and we're going to a grown-up theater where no one under 21 is allowed. Suck it, teenagers! Quit
Thank you.
ruining movies for
It's
me.
the only way I like
So,
to watch a movie is if kids
Yeah.
aren't allowed in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So for that, we've definitely run our course on our time. So it's time to sign off. You can check us out at www.geek.0.com. Check us out on Facebook /Geek.0 and Twitter.com/Geek.0. And we are now also on Periscope. For those of you that are iPhone users, you can get it on iOS. And we've already got one little live video up from when we went to the zoo this last weekend. And we will probably have other videos up as well here before long. So check us out on Periscope. So for that being said, I'm Chris.
and I'm Shawn Michael.
Don't be afraid to let your geek flag fly.